Good afternoon, Mr. Yoga and my friends from 11-2. My name is Aviel Sianturi, and for today, I would like to explain you guys about momentum and impulse in physics. Right, so let's just get it started, yeah? Right, so if you guys are asking, what is momentum? So momentum is the quantity of motion of a moving object. It is calculated as a product of mass and velocity, and it is represented by the symbol of P. As a vector quantity, momentum has both velocity and object mass. Now the unit of momentum is kilogram meter per second. Now here it is. The greater an object mass or velocity, the greater its momentum. But when a stationary object doesn't move, it's because its velocity is zero and it also has zero momentum. Now let's get to the formula of momentum. So the formula is P equals m times v, where P, as I told before, is the momentum, the unit is kilogram meter per second, and m equals mass, which is kilogram, and v is velocity, which is meter per second. Now let's do just a quick example calculation that I have here. A truck with mass 5,000 kilogram travels at 20 miles per second. So we can use the formula P equals m times v, and P, which is the mass, P equals m, the mass is 5,000 kilograms, so we just input that. I'm sorry, there's a wrong thing here, so it's just 5,000, and times 20, the velocity, and it becomes 100,000 kilograms meter per second. That's it. That's a simple formula. That's very simple, right? Now, let's just move on to the impulse. Now, here. Impulse is very interesting. Impulse is the change in momentum when a force acts over a period of time. It describes how forces affect the motion of objects during interactions. Its symbol is J, and it also have a vector quantity. Since it also have a vector quantity, it's gonna be the same as momentum. I will explain that later in the relationship between both of them. Now the unit for impulse is Newton second, or it is equivalent to kilogram meter per second. Now here it is, the thing that I showed you before, the impulse formula and the relationship between momentum. So the impulse formula, the first thing, is J equals force times delta t, or you can just say that delta time, where J is equals to impulse, which is Newton second, F is equal force, Newton, delta t is equals time interval, which is second, delta p, which is change in momentum. Now impulse equals the change in momentum of an object. Here it also has vector quantity, I told you before, right? So it can also be expressed as J equals delta p. Now here it is. It can become J equals m times v, times delta v, and then you can degrade it more by J equals m times v2 minus v1. Can also become F times delta t equals m times delta v. So it's very interesting how both of them correlates. Now, here's the examples of impulse. The example calculation is a 0.5 kilogram ball is moving at 10 meters per second, and it is caught in 0.2 seconds. So the impulse is J equals 0.5 times 0 minus 10. Why is it 0 minus 10? Because we do it is already flying when the question is already asked. So 0 minus 10, v1 is the v2 is 0 because we catches it, and v1 when we throw it. So then it equals into minus 5. We can also count the force. It is minus 5 subtract by 0.2 equals subtract by 0.2 and it equals to minus 25 Newton. The negative sign indicates the force, its opposite, the ball's original motion. Now there is also a law of conservation of momentum. In a closed system with no external forces, the total momentum before collision equals the total momentum after. This fundamental principle governs all collisions and explosions in physics. So the formula is mass 1 times velocity 1 plus m2 times v2 equals to m1 times v1 accent plus m2 times v2 accent, where m is mass and v is equal to the initial velocity and v accent is the final velocity. So thank you guys for listening. I hope you guys understand it very simply, and if you guys have any questions, just ask me in the class or maybe in the YouTube comment. So I hope that you guys understand it very clearly. I'm sorry if I have any wrong saying or wrongdoing that I did throughout this presentation. I hope you guys have a nice day. Thank you.